Hey, Finru here, how you doing? Brew day, and I'm absolutely spent. I'm so far behind today that I ain't going to catch up. However, I've done a lot of things. So it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sparge is just about run out into the boil pot. I've got probably another 2.5, 3 hours, and I'm absolutely spent. However, I did keg my last brew, which was pretty good. So that's done, and that's all keg and it's in there, and I added some gelatine to clear it up a bit, so we'll talk about that another time. So cheers to Brew Day. And I've just been watching a video from the Homebrew Network with Gash, and he's talking about supporting local breweries, and I totally go with that. I am, in fact, this here is actually a Cooper's from Australia, from South Australia, and I really do enjoy it. It's a good price and a good sized bottle, so it's good value for money. However, I will say that in my defence, that before that I had a bottle of Wigram Brewery's Saar Imperial Stout at 8.5%, which is a long time favourite of mine, an absolutely beautiful beer. It's got a lot of bitterness, and it's just a nice warming. It's a brilliant stout. I love it. So there you go. So if you live in Christchurch or New Zealand, yeah, try and grab a 500ml bottle of this. It's a great drop. I love it, and it's local. So although I'm drinking an Australian beer, a bit naughty. But never mind, I will endeavour to, and I always do support local breweries, so I don't have a problem there. So that's cool. So I've got my beer. My last brew has been, which is a Tired Bastard, which has been my dark, which is in the keg. It's all done. I've saved some yeast. Now this brew that I'm doing here is in fact going to be my annual Old Finn, which is named after my retriever that I lost last year, but also the beer that also took a gold medal in the local national homebrew competition. But that one, and that did very well in the export, Scottish export ale. It did very, very well. And I use a Mango's Jack's M15, if I'm not mistaken. You can look back on my other videos to see what that, and so that did very well. So I've done this for this next brew, for the 2020 version. I thought to myself, I wonder what that beer would be like with Belgium Abbey yeast. Yeah, Belgium Abbey yeast, and this one here that I chose is M47, and I don't know anything about these. I do enjoy Abbey beers, I certainly do. I just love them. They're really nice beer, sweet and full-bodied and just lovely, perfect actually for my taste. So what I'm going to do is, what I'm doing here is I've got exactly the same malt recipe and water profile as last year's Old Finn. But this time around, I'm going to use a different yeast. I'm not doing a starter because I just don't have it in me to do it today. I'm just too tired. But I'm just going to rehydrate it. I've got the water here that I've got prepared. And about 20 minutes out from pitching it, I will put it into here. Probably tip a little bit out. It's probably a bit full there. Probably about half that. And I'll just pitch this here into it, 20 minutes. And then I'll pitch it in, and hopefully after that brew, I'll definitely save some of it. Yeah, so for the next brew on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that tastes like, because I've had a few Leffe beers, Belgian beers, blonde, 6.6%, very nice. And I think, I was drinking it a few weeks ago, and I thought to myself, I wonder what a yeast like this would do in the Old Finn grain bill. So I'm going to try it, and then I'll know. So luckily for me, because I'm style free, I don't have any styles in beer. It comes from my head, and if I like it, and if I think it's going to work, I'll give it a go. So this is what I'm doing. I'll put that back up there. So that's about it, really. Oh, and I've got something else too. A couple of things. As I said to you in my last brew day, well, my last video, that I was behind, and I have been behind. I've been really struggling lately, but I've been making a bit of progress. So just hang on, have a look at this. I said I was going to put my STC1000 into an old pet food container, and I tried to do that, and I had all the power was turned on, and as I was trying to wriggle it in, some of the wires came out of the back and shorted out, and there was a flash, a massive blue flash that probably lit up the whole of the southern hemisphere. And I dropped it on the floor and turned off the power, and you know, it was pops and sparks, and oh my god. I thought, oh shit, that was close. I've had a lot of electric shocks in my life, I will say that, and I really don't want to have another one. So what I did was I went in online, and I will actually put a link to the fella that I had a look, because the wires came out the back, so I had to rewire this thing. And so what I did was I followed his instructions, and it was very clear and very precise. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I'm not a Sparky, but I managed to follow it, and I did make a bit of a cock up, and it didn't hurt anything, but I got a funny reading of 888s, but don't worry about that. I just wired it up slightly wrong, with it, you know. Then when I was looking for some, I went into town, into JCar, and I went to get some soldering, some solder, and another couple of things. They have these boxes here, and this box here is $8.50. And so I decided, and I had to cut the hole out in the front, and so I did that, made a nice job of it, and put it in, very tidy, very neat. And the trick too with these, when you're using these ST1000s, the clamps that you put the cables into, those clamps are very delicate, and they tend to twist, and you just got to make sure you got a really good connection. And that's why when I had it turned on and I was trying to force it into the pet food container, the wires came out and shorted out and touched each other and blew up. Had to be dramatic. So this box here, so it's got plenty of room at the back, so the wires can just be nice and stretched out. There's no pressure, and then on the inside, where that cable comes in, there's a cable tie in there to stop this. If I pull on that, it's not going to pull the wires out of the unit. So and I just drilled a little hole in the front where I put this is coming out there. So it's a sensor. So that just came out the front, and so that just sits on top of the fridge. Lovely. Made a nice job of it. Really happy. So that's one thing I've done. Just to move along, I'll just put that back up here. Whee! And the other thing too I said to you guys about was I was going to make a cider press. Now I've got a whole lot of apples in the freezer down here, and some feijoas, and I've got enough to make you know, probably 10 litres of strong cider. So what I've done, I've got this really cool idea. So I've got this bucket here, and I've been drilling holes in it. And because of my fatigue, what I've been doing is coming out here every couple of days and drilling a row of holes. And I guess next week I'll have it all done. So that'll be good. So I've got a few more there to do. So I'll do that. So my plan is, so I'll put some cheesecloth, will go inside that. I'll fold it in at the bottom, and I'll put the frozen apples will be thawed, and I'll be throwing them on top, probably with some, put some fork holes through it. I'll wind it over at the top, put a weight on the top, and another disc, and then I'll put it in a frame that I've made, and then I'll get a car jack, and I'll screw it down, and it will go into a roasting dish and come out, hopefully. It'll be. This is my idea. This is what I got going. So that's what I'm hoping is going to work. So, but I'm well behind. I'm a couple of months back. You know, I've just been so tired that I haven't been able to do a lot. And but it's all right. I'm getting there, and the weather's getting warmer. Brew day, I'm so far behind. Brew day, I wasn't going to brew today because. Well, I was supposed to brew tomorrow, and I went into the shop today and got my grains. I do a canine friends thing with my dog on a Wednesday, but because of the the virus thing, when I got to the door there, they said, you can't come in. You keep on knocking, but you can't come in. You know what I mean? So that was fine. And when I came home, I thought, oh, you know what? I might just brew. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, sorry to keep you so long, but and cheers to everyone that's please subscribe and like and subscribe. And I really enjoy talking to people that subscribe to my channel and leave comments at the bottom. It's really good. So I think I've waffled on for too long now, and so thanks everyone. I'll carry on with my day, and cheers. Hey, keep it local. Take care. Ooh.